Well, you've heard the phrase, it's what's on the inside that matters. Well, that usually applies to people, of course. In this case, it also applies to gadgets in everyday life. A traveling exhibit from the Smithsonian is here on the Suncoast this summer, and it looks at the inner workings of everyday objects. Matthew Woodside from South Florida Museum is here to tell us about things come apart. I love this. You wouldn't know this about me, but I actually like to take things apart.
Yep.
So in this exhibit, what types of things are coming apart that we can see?
Well, the exhibition is a set of 38 photographs taken by Canadian artist Todd McClellan, who became fascinated with things as a young boy. He had a carpenter as a father and a mother who was an electrical technician, and they lived out in Saskatchewan, Canada, and of course had to fix things quite often on their own. And so he, at an early age, just became fascinated with how things work and the inner workings of things. And then as he became an adult and an artist who now works out of Toronto, he took on as this one big project to disassemble all of the common gadgets and devices that we have, along with a lot of retro things that we've kind of grown up with and known, to take a look at their inner workings as a way to understand them, but also as a way to document and celebrate the evolution of technology that has been going on for, of course, tens and tens of thousands of years.
That's fascinating. I know some of his pictures that we saw, it looked like there was an antique clock, a bicycle. So it really does take things, it's kind of a nice look back at gadgets from the beginning. So you mentioned that we can learn about the evolution of objects. What's the other facet of the exhibit?
The exhibit also includes not only the photographs of some of these things he's taken apart, but we have 4 examples of that object being encased in resin. So in his photographs, you'll see that he's laid these meticulously out, photographed them, and then we also sometimes have another photograph where he's jumbled them all together, and they're kind of flying through space as kind of a way to kind of become more of an artistic expression. And then he's taken 4 of those, the clock, the Game Boy, I forget what the other 2, the lawnmower, and embedded those in resin. So visitors to the exhibit can kind of really look at these things that are taken apart. And we see this as a great opportunity as kind of a point of discussion or point of departure for a discussion about all of these things that we carry around in our pockets now and that we have at home that are mystical to us. I mean, we have no idea how these things work. And it is a lot of fun to take a look at the camera that's taken apart. We can kind of understand it. The clock, we see the gears, and we can understand that. But the Game Boy, the iPod, these electronic components that now do these marvelous things that are some of the best tools we've ever created, but they're completely inaccessible to us in terms of understanding how did we get there.
I'm so glad you said that. I thought it was just me that didn't
No, I think
get
we
it.
all kind of walk around with, we just accept it and use them and are frustrated sometimes by them, but we certainly have become dependent on them and rely on them for our everyday. And it wasn't that long ago, I mean 10, 15 years ago, that we didn't even have these things. We were still using dial phones and we've just become so quickly just saturated with all this technology that I think the exhibition really will give people an opportunity to come and kind of take a step back, think about these things, because another aspect that the exhibition brings up is what do we do with these things when they become obsolete and when they become broken? We have to discard them because they do contain materials that rare earth materials as well as valuable materials that should be recycled, and in some cases are not, and we're not really taking advantage of the things that we should be in terms of managing what we do with all the electronics that become broken.
I know that a lot of us too, we know that we push a button and it either works or doesn't work because so much of the, the working parts are hidden from us. But one thing I like is you brought some examples of some very clear pieces. Tell us how these fit in.
One of the things that in Todd's photographs is he'll give the object count. And the piano, there's thousands of parts, and the Game Boy, there's 80 or so. But we really, in terms of talking about the evolution of technology and humans building tools to make better tools, it does go back to the simple idea of using stone technology, one stone to create another tool, and that led to better and better tools to where we are today. It was such a sophisticated amount of technology, but museums like the South Florida Museum, we're talking about the stories of science and nature, the evolution of the planet, the evolution of life, and how our evolution of technology has helped us overcome all of the different habitats that animals have had to adapt over millions of years. We'd be able to create technologies that can get us to be able to survive in outer space underwater because of these concepts of building tools and better ways and technologies of doing things.
Well, speaking of building, there is a hands-on aspect to the exhibit, and you brought us a sample. So this is, we can try to put this together to create sound?
Yep, you bet. So part of the exhibition does include 3 activity kits that came with the exhibit. They come from the Lemelson Center for Innovation and Inventions at the American Museum of American History.
All right, Linda, you
I'm
hook
gonna
up
ask you to
the.
move that
What do
first
I do,
piece
move this in?
closer.
Well, we got to hook them together somehow.
Move this closer to here.
And so these give young people or children of all ages, as I like to say, an opportunity to be inventors and to be innovators. And one is designed to help to kind of challenge people to make a machine or kind of a gadget that will make sound.
All right, I see the xylophone at the bottom,
Yep.
so
So
I
We're gonna
understand how it's
we're
going to
test
happen.
our architecture skills.
There
See
you
if
go.
we actually
I
got
hope
it.
we didn't goof up here.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
All right.
Cheers!
Nice.
So,
Name that tune.
I bet Nate could sing it. That's what I love. This is great. Things Come Apart is at the History Center at South Florida Museum in Bradenton through Sunday, August 19th. For more information, you can go to their website. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Send it down again.